Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm with three very special guests from the hip hop trio Entune. Got Chad, CMG, and Dre Taylor. So we'll start right from left. Start with Chad. I want everyone to explain their background and how you guys got join the group and everything. So I'll start with you, Chad.
Well, it's simple, honestly. He's my twin brother, so that's just a gift.
Both got glasses too.
Best friend right here. So it fell into place, like kind of just like how the stars made a line pretty much. Probably about 10, 12 years ago, we got together and just been making music together ever since. I pretty much started writing music myself probably about 13, 14 on my own. And then probably about 18, me and my brother kind of looked at each other and was like, hey, we should start doing this for real. Then met him, and it's been history ever since for me.
Wow, that's dope. So CMG, tell us your backstory.
Yeah, in a sense, it's kind of the same. We met back in like 2007-ish, you know what I'm saying? So that's when I first like started getting into like the music, but I wasn't really like taking it serious. It was more like a hobby. You know, we just had the homeboys come over, record in the garage or whatever, till 4 or 5 in the morning every day type stuff. But eventually met up with these dudes, you know, we had pretty much an instant connection and just figured out what we needed to do, and it just brought us to this moment, really.
Here we are. And now, Dre?
I would say it's the same, but it's a little different. Actually, I started out singing. That's where, you know, I just gained a liking for music itself, and, you know, just started writing poetry more. So then I became more on the hip hop side of it, and I found more liking for that. And my brother always, when I brought it to him, he's like, yeah, we're gonna do it. But we decided to mix, you know, singing R&B feel with hip hop. My man's is the same way. So, you know, it was just like an instant clicking for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy your guys' music, especially like your song Crazy.
Yeah.
Hella fun song to listen to. So where are you guys all from? Like, we're in Seattle.
Well, I was born, lived in Seattle pretty much majority of my life, moved to Federal Way, been living in Federal Way ever since.
Yeah, I was born Des Moines, but grew up Federal Way, never really moved out of there.
And you got your brother, so
I'll say
you live in the same place. So how old is everyone?
Me, man, we just turned 30 over the summer. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
27, I'll be 28 November 2nd. Yeah. Scorpio season. You know?
Wow.
Cancer gang.
Water signs, big water signs over here.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just stumbled across your guys' music. Like, one of you guys actually like liked one of my pictures on the NAST podcast, and I was like, let me check this guy out. There we go. And like, I was taken aback. I really like your guys' music a lot. And how do you guys navigate through the Seattle music scene? Have you guys made a lot of connections, or what's it been like for you guys? Start with you, Chad.
It's been pretty good, to be honest, because I could say growing up, I grew up with a lot of them and start to see how people branched out. So getting into it, or having certain people to know them, was from, you know, just being younger and everybody becoming adults. I would say making connections just by being out, you know, just being seen, trying to be wherever the music is, and not specifically sticking to one section of music either. Just if something music oriented is happening, trying to be there, just trying to meet somebody. And it's pretty decent. Well, obviously with the COVID stuff, not too good, but it's still, you know, internet's the best thing. You still connect that way. Obviously how we met, you know, same thing. So it's still able to be to happen, make the connection still.
So
yeah, definitely. We've been meeting a lot of people too, like, because we mess with a lot of Seattle producers that are pretty known out here. So you bump into artists at the studios, you go to support your friends' events, and you bump into people there. People want you to meet people, you know. But all in all, though, if you're out in Seattle, you're gonna meet people. You know, Seattle's one of those places you're gonna meet people. So definitely, we got pretty connected with a bunch of people out here.
Yeah, for sure. How was your guys' like come up? Like, did you guys start by doing like open mics in Seattle, or how did you guys first started getting recognition?
Our first exposure thing was actually coast to coast in California.
Oh, wow.
Atlantic Records, and we had performed for Matt McFarlane and did like a little in-studio performance. And that kind of like started like the on the road thing. We ended up going to Portland like the next month or something, was performing out there. But we do a lot of shows in the Seattle area too, Fremont.
Hmm.
I think
That's dope.
it kicked off like the independent like mindset for us, doing like when we first started, just doing like the coast to coast thing. It pretty much just showed us that we got to put our footwork in no matter what. So I think that was just the best thing for us, to pretty much start doing our own footwork and, you know, not forcing the music, but just letting them grasp to it as they do. Because that's just kind of how I feel like fan bases are built. You know, your newest fans gonna go back to the oldest music, so they'll catch on eventually.
Yeah, for sure. Even when it comes to like interviews, anything like that, you know, like you can't always worry about the views right away because they'll come back around full circle. So when did you do the coast to coast thing? Like what year was that?
I want to say it was 2013.
Yeah, 2013, 13 or 14.
Yeah.
So we did two of them a year back to back. The first one was in LA. No, I was LA. Then the second one we did was another showcase in Portland, and I think they were a year back to back. About 2013, 14, yeah.
So do you guys?
We met a couple of little like managers out there, a couple of promoters, you know, other artists from other states and stuff. Was cool. Ended up exchanging numbers, business cards, all that. So that was a cool like first thing for us to do as a group, you know what I'm saying? To kind of just be in the music scene and see what it's kind of like at, especially like bigger labels like Atlantic and stuff like that, you know, just to see how they kind of do things.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Put your foot in the door, introduce yourself to people.
Do you think it's weird there's not really any big record labels in Seattle? Like, do you think that's a downside for Seattle, or do you think it's fine that it's not really prominent here?
A downside, yeah, because there's a lot of talent out here. There's a lot of people who are a part of management, but there's not any that are a part of major, like I would say, like large labels. There's a few that have connections with like independent ones that are pretty good, but there's a lot of talent out here. So if there was a major label that was out here or something based in Seattle, there would be a lot more opportunity for people for sure. They'd be able to see like a wide range of things, you know what I mean? But you get people now who are venturing down to California and trying to go more on the East Coast sound, and it kind of makes it seem as if like, you know, we don't have our own thing here.
Yeah.
But for those that are a part of the scene here, it's very present that we have our own music scene here.
For sure.
The tools to show people that.
Yeah, I feel like we lose a lot of good talent that way though, because they always like leave, go to LA or Atlanta or wherever. Like I'll just be on Instagram or look up like Seattle artists, and like there's so many artists that I'm like, what? They're actually from Seattle? Like I won't even know that, and they're like popping off. They're like they don't rep Seattle or anything like that. They're like, oh, LA is actually my new hometown or some shit like that. You know, it's rough.
Definitely, yeah, but I will say though, Seattle is starting to get a lot of people bubbling out for sure. You know, we've already seen a couple of bigger names come out in the last couple of years. There's definitely people that are doing a lot of tours that are from Seattle for sure. That's where a lot of it's at right now. It's touring. That's a big thing. But Seattle is starting to open up opportunities because there wasn't really too much hip hop opportunities specifically before.
Yeah, for sure. We had like Sir Mix-a-Lot for a while. Oh yeah. So are you guys pretty confident and like going on tours, and like do you guys create your own events, or like do people invite you, or how is the process for you guys for that?
It's we started out actually doing them ourselves, just booking the venues and creating the rosters for the concerts ourselves, because we figured a promoter is gonna take a certain style of music and put the roster together, opposed to if you can do it yourself, you save time. You know what I mean? And you can create your own exposure. You know, usually when people hear about shows, they want to talk to who put it together, and it's always for me, it just feels better with it being an artist, not someone who just did it for the exposure themselves. Artist does it, it feels better. Even when you book artists, as an artist, they feel more. I started to know they feel more comfortable knowing, oh, it's an artist, so I'm not here to buy time or things like that. But we do get invited to shows too. We do those too, but we prefer to do them ourselves just so that it's just more based on artists than anything else.
Do you guys have do you guys have pretty good relationships with like the concert venues around the Seattle area? And do you guys have like a favorite one that you go to, or?
Select favorite. I personally like performing at Columbia
City. Yeah,
that Columbia City Theater was a dope venue.
It has like the amphitheater, like the theater feel.
Yeah.
So it feels more of like a concert on the inside, opposed to like bigger venues. And being honest, we're not getting 3,000, 4,000 fans, so you get the big concert feel with the intimate vibe with having like the 500 to 1,000 people there. You know what I mean? So that Columbia City to me gives the best ambiance. I would say, if you're an artist, it makes it feel a lot more comfortable. Even the clubs are cool too. The clubs are cool to perform in just because of the vibe that you're in at that point. We've even done some in Fremont. They're not too bad, but I would say Columbia City probably the best.
Yeah, it's really pretty. It's a very beautiful stage. I think so.
We actually got in there right when they did their remodel too, so it was a little different from what we had previously remembered.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
And what I've noticed is like actually like artists that really truly like love the Seattle, like if they're like touring here, there's a few that actually like that location a lot. I'm like, oh shit, they know about the Columbia Theater, you know?
Yeah, actually, like the week after we had performed there, I don't know if you know who Brent Fias is, but Brent Fias came in there, told us that we were there. Yeah, that was a dope night. So we definitely seen that event or that venue. Nice for sure.
Yeah, he's popping off, dude. I saw Coda the Friend there, which was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think that was probably like the month before.
Yeah, he came the month before Brent, and then Brent Fias came in like September, and that it was nice, man. And I like him. I've been hitting him for years, so going to see him there after performing was like, as an artist, it's just like a different confidence, stamp for you, like, so it was just really nice to see it.
Yeah, that's dope. So do you guys manage yourselves, or do you have like one manager, or how does that work for you guys?
I mean, 3 managers. 3 managers for sure. I mean, obviously, we like to add to the team. We got a couple people, that do what they can as well, producers and stuff that's on the team, videographers, But as far as like promotion and stuff, we're the marketing team for us,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we keep it all in-house, all independent,
Yeah, for sure. What are the benefits for artists that might be like coming up still? Like, what's the benefits for doing everything in-house versus outsourcing, in your guys' opinions?
So, in my opinion, keeping everything in-house, you keep the creative control because everybody has the same objective. Everyone's pushing towards the same goal. So you're working with people that have the same ambition as you. They're all worried about like, I want to make sure he gets what he's satisfied, I'm satisfied. Opposed to if you're working with somebody who has, maybe you're not 100% their main priority. So they also have things that they're worried about that may push you to the side at some point. They may not look at every opportunity for yourself. So when you're independent, you have your best interests at heart. You know what I mean? So creating a team, you just want to make sure that you're adding pieces that have the same objective. Like we want to get to a certain point. We have timelines. We're trying to meet those timelines and beat those goals and keep moving, staying progressive in each day, making sure that, okay, he comes up with an idea, sit down, we'll go over it and move forward. You know what I'm saying? Because everything's changing. Everything's moving so fast. You have to keep up. So when you're staying in-house, it's a lot easier to move at a fast pace because it's quick connection. You know what I mean? It's easy.
Yeah.
So I would definitely, anybody who's coming up in the music, independent, if those labels reach out to you, tell them all you want to do is distribution. You do not want to sign your life away.
For sure. Do you guys ever butt heads because you guys are like a trio, or do you guys work pretty well together?
I just gonna butt heads with each other in general. At the end of the day, we got the bigger picture, so we're always gonna work out any discrepancies. But definitely.
Right. We're twin brothers, so that's obvious. That's a guarantee. Yeah. But like you said, it's a bigger goal at hand. So everybody knows what's more important than some small argument that obviously can be passed over eventually.
Mm-hmm.
We know how to shake hands and move on. Definitely.
So from right to left, I'll start with Chad again. What do you guys each think you bring to the table for your group?
Me, I feel like I bring a lot of the emotion, a lot of the pretty much like the substance of content that we usually use. If it gets really deep, I'm probably who went there with them, you know, or and mostly just like, you know, melodies and, you know, just pushing everybody to their limit. Just because I know how much talent we all hold separately, so together I know what it can be. So I think I'm probably the one who pushes us all to the limit, and yeah, I think that's majority what it is for me, man. Call me the pops if you want to. I guess I'm the dad.
Oh my gosh.
I try and keep the energy up, man. I might be calm right now, but I try and keep the high energies going. You know what I'm saying? We all got pretty good positive vibes, but I try and keep the vibrations high and everything, you know. On top of that, like marketing is a big thing for me. Like I love trying to figure out the social media marketing and all that stuff. So I'm big on like the whole making visualizers and trying to get, you know, promotion and stuff like that. Trying to get all that stuff going. So like the A&R side of things, I guess you can say.
So a lot of the songs that have the singing vibes to him, like my brother, he does have a deeper, you know what I'm saying, intellect when it comes to in touch with emotion. So I feed off of that when it comes to the songs that we're going to take a little time with and add a melody to it. I like to go back and use a lot of 90s like melodies and stuff, but just changing it and putting our own words to it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I feed off of that because it's a feeling, you know what I mean? And with singing, you have to have feeling. So it's like incorporating that with the new style of music, adding a little bit of rapping here and there. It just, you know, I think that it makes for a real diverse, you know, genre of music. It doesn't necessarily have a name to it, but it definitely exists in our present generation right now.
Sure. Yeah, I don't really know that many trios. So I think that's sick already, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of bringing it back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the time, that's all you ever seen was groups. It was Jagged Edge and SWV, 702, 112,
Jodeci,
like, that's all you. That was all
a bunch of them.
People understood that there was power in numbers. So they're like, all right, if we have 3 people with amazing talent, we can put it in one thing and they work together. That's gonna do its thing. It's gonna work. So, you know,
Sure.
we took B and ran with it.
So do you guys have like your own studio, or do you hop between studios, or how does the studio work for you guys?
Pretty much both. We try to. It's most comfortable to record it at home because we have in home. It's most comfortable for certain songs, but depending on the vibe we try to make, we do go to other studios. We either go to we go down to Lost Boy Studio with Milo Bank, or we go to Clatter and Den with Chris Pack. And it's just between those two. Those who we have a familiar relationship with. We use them pretty often, so we go there with them. But yeah, and I'm team try to stay at home just because that's where we can get the most natural of our voices and the vibes to keep the songs to where they're at our own momentum. Opposed to you get excited for it now. You know, it's music time when you're in the studio, so you do get a little excited. You know, but the song may not call for that. So you try to make it around what you're trying to get the vibe for. So we try to do that at home.
Yeah, for sure. So now that you guys are all in Federal Way, is there like a music scene in Federal Way that you guys notice, or?
Yeah, 100%. There's a couple artists that we are now working on, like doing features with. And honestly, I mean, it's kind of like merged. You know, a lot of people that are from Federal Way or from West Seattle or South Seattle in general. I think now, yeah, even to Tacoma,
everybody's kind of merged.
They're trying to merge the lines and do a lot of collaborations with people, so that it does bring a bigger light to the music scene here. You know.
Yeah.
There's one here though in Federal Way for sure.
So what I have been seeing is that there's tons of like younger artists coming out, like in their teens. Like Little Mosey's a perfect example. What can you guys take away from these younger artists that are coming up in the Seattle music scene?
I would say just the energy, because, you know, we're all different. We all bring different aspects with our music, but the energy, man, you know, I like seeing it. I like seeing how driven the younger people are. So it makes it fun. You know, they still want to have fun with it. And that's what keeps music fresh, you know, when you still want to have fun.
Do you guys see what genre of city do you think Seattle is? Because some people say it's a hip hop city, some people say it's just a rock and roll city. What are your guys' opinion on it?
I would say I agree with the rock and roll. I think that's the only thing we're known for is Berkeley Gang. You know,
Hmm.
you know, Jimi Hendrix, yeah, you know, that's all rock music. So, but it's not like it's bad because those, you know, we all feed off of that. That's all, you know, go sample all that music. But nowadays, the hip hop scene it would be as big as that for the era that it was if we just had a spotlight for it. Because I would say now it's probably still the same amount of grunge rock bands that exist, but hip hop just overpowers it as far as numbers, in my opinion. I think there's a lot more hip hop artists than there is, but the grunge is just more accepted just due to the natural take of Seattle. Yeah,
Or even some of the venues even are kind of grungy looking, you know?
and it's just natural for them. Like, you know, they take the image of what they have and the group fit or the artist fit for what they're doing. So it just, you know, just naturally flows. As opposed to hip hop, it starts to adjust. They want to add, you know, even with certain venues, you want to add certain lights, take certain lights out, add certain speakers or effects, and a lot of them aren't equipped for it, you know. So some of it, you know, doesn't work.
I think Columbia City Theater was the only place that had the option for you to really get it set up for, because with hip hop music, it's very different than rock and roll as far as the sound base. So specifically, they have the option where you can use different microphones, different audio, different lights. So it gives a different feel. They have the option for you to really get it set up for your vibe.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I love all the venues. They all have their own little like vibe to them, like the Fun House or like, you know, WAMU, Pike Place. Like, is Showbox is the one that has like two venues, right? The one in Pike Place and the one in. I feel like that's so weird. I don't even know how you're able to have two of the same venue names. It's fucking nuts. So why do you not think that? Because like the past like big artists that have come out of Seattle at the top of my head is like Little Mosey and Macklemore, but it doesn't really seem like they brought like a spotlight to Seattle. Why do you think that didn't happen?
It's a good question. I will say, like, people that make hip hop in Seattle knows that there's other hip hoppers that support it. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like fan base goes, there's not really like a solid hip hop fan base in Seattle. If that makes sense. Like a lot of people run into the problem where, you know, they want to see that you're already famous before they start saying like, yeah, I support this or I stand behind this. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of passive aggressiveness where people will tell you like, hey, I rock with you, but then you be like, oh, what song? And they be like, dang, you got me. I guess I don't rock with you. You know, so there's a lot of passive aggression out here too. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a Seattle vibe, I guess you can say. You know, that it just hasn't been accepted yet. You know, it's on the verge of being accepted more, but it just hasn't been accepted yet. So until it's been like completely supported, like how you see in Atlanta or how you see in California or something, it's just going to be just on the bubble. A couple people are going to make it out, but it's going to be a lot more that didn't, you know, until it's just more accepted, really, or supported, I guess you can say.
And then, like, my opinion, Macklemore he did Bumper Shoot 6 years, but his song blew up, and he did College Show, but his song blew up in California. So I feel like that for some, not for the artist specifically, but for like the people of the city he's from, that takes a toll on them because it doesn't say, oh, he's put on for our city, he didn't shoot his video here where he's from, and stuff like that. That's not necessarily on the artist's mind when they're just trying to, pursue their career. But on the flip side, it does matter. You know, if you're from somewhere and you're going to tell people you're from there, but you don't go back with your success, it does make a difference, And I, like you said, it's just the scene for hip hop. It really isn't extremely fan supportive, It's just they support it as much as they see it, not as much as they want it to be seen.
I feel like another thing is like most of the artists that you can name that have made it out of Seattle don't even live in Seattle right now. They've moved to where the fan base is, because you gotta go where your target audience is, and it's just the target audience is usually never here. So you can out if you want to make it out. But there's a bunch of Seattle artists that's like, I'm not gonna leave to make it out. So then you got the ones that are just on the bubble, and it's just a couple moves away from it clicking. But will it or will it not? It's kind of up to how it plays out,
When you guys started, like in 2013, did you guys think? Because it's been like 7 years now. Did you guys think by the time it was 2020 that this bubble would have popped?
Oh,
Or
long time ago.
yeah,
Because people that I think as far as music in the hip hop scene, I feel like there's some who should have gotten mainstream looks or mainstream success or big label success per se, not mainstream, but big label success, but they didn't really got it. And I just think it's because of the spotlight we don't have. You know, I don't think it's not because of the talent or the persistence or anything. I think it's really there's you don't know whose hand to shake to get to that door. You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of people out here, like we said, there's a bunch of people out here who have the connections, but you don't know what person to get you to the right person. And that's just really a toss up with it. But I definitely would have thought that the bubble for Seattle would have popped before 2020 for sure. Definitely. I kind of thought when Lil Mosey did get signed, I thought that would have been the start of it because of the type of artist he would have been able to bring here. But you know, it didn't happen yet. Maybe it will soon, but it hasn't yet. But I think it's happening soon enough for sure. It's coming.
do you think it comes down to like there being like a good media outlet, or is it like a specific group of artists that need to blow up, or
A little bit of both. Like I'll just take, for instance, you take Chicago, right? Kanye West blows out of Seattle, out of Chicago, but he still goes back to the radio station that he was playing his music. So he's giving chances to artists, which is how he met Big Sean, and how other people were still able to have access to that type of opportunity, which made that radio station still, you know, a platform for finding new artists. Here we don't have that. They shut down the biggest radio station that we had for that type of opportunity at the time when it would have been the best. The Q90 has started back again. So that, you know, that was a big downfall. And I think there has to be somebody that comes back that makes those calls. You know what I mean? Like it's like you said, no one's gonna believe that you're a certain person until somebody says. You know, if you're the person who's successful, then to other people it just sounds more believable, opposed to them just finding out for themselves.
so let's go in depth about these radio stations. What are your guys' opinion on the Seattle radio stations that we have? We'll start with Dre.
My opinion, there isn't one that has. I don't think there's one here that has an outlet for hip hop. Like you said, the only one that did was Q93, and at the time, and like legit at that time, that's where there was a lot of people who were working for them that had connection to the independent music scene here, and they were actually trying to set it up to where once they got into those seats as like a main radio host or a radio host at a certain hour for where it's a prime time for music, they're connected with the independent scene. So they're like, okay, man, look, you're on the rise. I've now got a position at this radio station. I can play your song at this time, but that's when the radio station just disappeared. And they came back with a totally different wave of music. There wasn't even like radio hosts or anything like that. It was just like whatever top 40 songs was on that list, they played those on there. So like that was one thing that was strict from here. They came out with a couple podcasts, but then what you start noticing with that is that I don't think that it's supported if you tell me that I have to pay you for you to play my music.
Mm.
Because if you're a person who's just using this as an outlet to showcase local music, you would do that on your own. You would have a research team or people who go and look up local music. Everybody sits down, you listen to the music, you say what's the best for this week or something, you know? And that's what I think would maximize the opportunities for these outlets. But I don't see that. I mean, yeah, that's happened for us before. We've been reached out to about music. Oh, I like your music, this and that, but it costs this much for you to put it on our platform. Like, well, if you reached out and seen my music already, why do I have to pay you to play it? You know what I'm saying? So it's like the opportunity. Sometimes I think, you know, people use the pay to play scenario. Like, you know, if you're willing to pay for this, then we'll play you. And the people who had the connection with the independent artists here, they pretty much were driven into doing other things like podcasts. The one podcast that was cool was McAnally. They were working with a lot of independent artists. Right, the blow up with Casey Carter. She did a lot of independent stuff. Who else? That's probably it. that were just genuine about giving a spotlight to local music, period. And I won't name the ones that are on that tip for the pay to play, but there's a lot of those for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that pay to play stuff doesn't even make sense because at the end of the day, like whatever type of pay to play thing it is, it always ends up just being like pockets change for you. Like no one's gonna make all their money from that pay to play revenue, So like why not just make it free for artists to hop on?
That's the main thing is that you're charging me for a post on Instagram or for 4 minutes on your podcast. Like, if you did this, consistently with a certain group of artists, or like I said, once a week, sat down for the best artists, it would bring a spotlight towards their platform as well. You would get people who would want to promote them as an artist. Like we are, because if it was a certain station that was like, oh, all we do is support local artists, you'd have the local artists supporting them. Like everybody go show love to them, try to get an interview with them because it builds for the community of music. You know what I mean?
Like Breakfast Club. People don't want to get on Breakfast Club because they like DJ Envy or Charlamagne. They want to get on Breakfast Club because that's the platform that says, okay, you're on the rock.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you made it to the Breakfast Club. That says something different for you, even as an artist, comedian, actor. That platform says you've now made another step. So here, that would do the same thing.
Yeah. I always like to get hear what artists thinks need to happen in Seattle. I'm thinking about maybe creating I have to promote it so it's not just randomly on my phone, but making a Spotify playlist for up and coming artists or something. There's nothing, we really just don't have anything that could be oh, at least we have this. We don't even have that. Oh, thank God we at least have what?
There was one person, he's a DJ. He just started it this year though. Once the quarantine started, he actually put together a local tape. He goes by DJ Bankhead. He came out with a tape that had 15 or 16, 15 or 16 songs with nothing but local artists. And he put that out last month, I think the end of last month. And that was a pretty good thing because there was a lot of people it wasn't very promoted. It was kind of we know that he's a DJ because he used to DJ at all the clubs pretty much. So it was when he came out with it, it was oh dang, you because we're on there, and it was kind of just shocking us. Dang, you put us on there? Okay, cool. I like that because it's okay, you're still listening and paying attention to what's going on out here, even during the time that we're in.
And it gives artists the momentum to be ooh, I want to be on the next one.
Yeah.
This one, okay, I got to for sure be on the next one. Type deal. And I like it. It was nice. It was dope to see for sure.
Shit, yeah, you guys are giving me ideas. I can run with that. Yeah, I get that. So what have you guys been doing? Once again, we'll start from right to left. What have you guys been doing during this quarantine? Have you guys been working on your craft on writing, or start with you, Chad?
Writing a bunch of music, man. Just finished our EP. Got an 8-song EP coming out.
Ooh.
Writing music, man, is honestly, if I don't have anything to do, that's it. I know for a fact that I've hit my curve with my niche, and it's writing music. So my free time is spent doing that, especially the quarantine. I have no other choice. Definitely just writing music.
I hate to sound cliche, but just perfecting the craft. The whole quarantine thing. Of course, a lot more people got a lot more time to do the things that they always say they don't got time to do.
Right.
So we definitely made use of our time. Like you said, we got the EP coming out towards the end of this month. I don't know if we're dropping a release day or not, but towards the end of this month for sure. But yeah, so we just been trying to stay consistent. Really, a lot of it's been online marketing because you can't really be face to face right now. Travel's kind of limited, so just on top of keeping on creating content, trying to reach out and network through our outlets and everything.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Dre?
Pretty much the same thing. Just making sure we're perfecting not just our craft but our sound, and because a lot of times when you have downtime where you might feel let me try this out or try that out, or if you let's say I played basketball, let me try to play football. Now let me perfect my basketball skills, you know? So just making sure that we stay on top of what we do best. And because we do something different, which is adding singing or rapping, we perfected that. Like, and we worked hard to get to where, like now with our EP coming out, like I said, in this month, where it's like a different feeling with this one, you know?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, what I've been thinking about is like there's so many artists because right now, especially in Seattle, like everything's like back to square one when it comes out to music and promotion. So like whether it's Seattle, LA, Chicago, wherever, you're gonna start seeing these new artists that have been perfecting their craft during this whole quarantine because this has been like a 6-month thing now, you know? It's nuts.
They have not used their time wisely.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely want to, man. I mean, even
Yeah.
now you're seeing a lot more artists that are coming out that even from here, like, dang, I didn't know they even had an interest in music. You know, I've seen a lot of that lately.
Or even like the visuals, like people still doing visuals. The visuals are getting more creative just because now you literally have the time to sit down and we're used to doing story. Like we're real old school when it comes to the industry. Like we sit down storyboard, but you can see now in visuals, people are taking that approach. Like they're sitting down, writing minute by minute visual, how they want. You know, I'm pretty sure they're having more control of how it looks during the quarantine because you have enough time to do that. You know, it's
Yeah.
not, it didn't have to be rushed right now. You know,
Also,
so.
yeah, because also everyone is on the same playing field when it comes to like everything has to be online. So if you were shit at promoting before, there's going to be definitely some other people who have more money, whether it's like a TV show company or whatever that's promoting just the same way you have to promote, but they have those resources to push it farther than you. So you have to step your game up.
Right.
So it's nuts. So guys, start with Chad. What is some advice that you guys have for up and coming artists, creators, influencers?
Be yourself. Literally, be you. Don't be yourself. Don't let nothing steer you from your path. To be honest with you, that's the only thing I got. I can say some bullshit, you know, like, oh, you know, try to adjust or, you know, see what the people want. No, be yourself because you created something that you knew in the beginning that was gonna be yours. You know, and if you cherish it that much, don't change it.
Mm.
Don't, you know, there's gonna be people who don't like it. People gonna say, oh, that's not your niche. That's not something for you. It's not for you. You know, everything's not for everybody. Somebody's gonna like it. Someone's gonna take heed of it. You know what I mean? So no matter what, keep pressing through and just, you know, do your own thing and remain yourself. That's all, you know. That's all I can say.
Sure.
That's a big one. I would say, like, have fun, really. You know, if you take everything so serious, it's gonna start to sound like a job. You're gonna get stressed out. You know, it shouldn't be like that. All this should come natural. You know, it's music is a feeling type of thing, so people can feel what you're feeling. You know, through your voice and how you're saying things. So have fun if you want other people to enjoy and have fun with you. You know, that's a big part.
I'll take it as a larger, you know, aspect. For anyone that wants to get for influencers, music, stay connected to the people who are a part of what you do. Because not saying that you need to be a part of their team, just like being able to reach out for a resource, like, oh hey, I heard you, you know what I'm saying, we're going to this. What do you think about, you know, anything? It's just for perspective. Like everybody, it's a chain. You know what I mean? Everybody needs to be able to link in and be able to say, okay, you know, I support this person and support that, because if everybody's playing this side against each other, I mean, there is going to constantly be a battle. Nobody's going to ever get to that point. So, you know, just creating good relationships, do good business.
Yeah.
That's a major one. Do good business, because people have to remember this is a business still.
People talk. If you have bad business, people will know.
Yeah. For those people out there that know, if you do bad business, we know.
Yeah, and that's why you're not getting a call back, you know, those people doing bad businesses.
So, you know, like, yeah, just, you know what I'm saying, making sure you do good business. You know what I mean? If you have resources, the best word is don't be stingy with them, you know, each one to teach one. If I know something, you know, I don't think you're going to get in my way of my journey by giving you a good piece of advice. You know what I mean? So stay connected to the scene that you're in, do good business with people,
you know what I'm saying? Stay positive, man.
For sure.
It's everything. Networking, you can't get anywhere without networking. So it's
You
like
gotta have some type of a team.
yeah.
Somebody you can't like you think you can do it by yourself. You can do a large portion of it possibly by yourself, but you're just not gonna do it if you're by yourself. You know,
I'm about to
You
get
need
real.
something.
I'm about to get real cliche because Nipsey Hussle had a quote. He said, if you don't have a team, your dream is extremely small.
Mm.
You need more people because if you don't have if you have a big dream, you can't control it. It's you know it's gonna be overwhelming. It's big. You need people to help you. So if you don't have a team, your dream may be really small. You know, and I believe that because I'm with 2 other people in the group to help my dream. You know what I mean? And I know I'll need more opposing them. So I believe that just you know the help is you gotta have help. Yeah.
For sure. So CMG, do you have any tips on people who want to grow out their beard or?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll actually give you the best tip, bro. Don't cut it. Grow their beard out, and then they want to cut it off and like, man, it wasn't growing. Well, why'd you cut it if it wasn't growing? Obviously, there was more hair than there wasn't because you got it growing, man. That's it. I tell people every day, bro. Don't cut it.
For sure. So what is the easiest way for people to reach out to you?
Social media or email, Entune Entertainment at yahoo.com. Instagram, we're on Instagram. You can follow me, CMG underscore Entune, Chad underscore Entune, or Entune, I said Entune. The Cute Twin underscore Entune, or you can follow the group page, which is Entune underscore ENT. You know, we're on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal.
Oh yeah, no, I gotta say this. So we did get reached out to by a person that is in Washington, and we were actually on Beats One Radio on the Ebro show.
Oh shit.
He says I'm like, there was someone who reached out simply, he didn't even know our music or nothing. He seen us on Chris Pack's Instagram. He hit Chris Pack. Chris Pack got in contact with us, just asked for, he sent him a radio pack. We had no idea of it. And only we found out that he already did that because we got approached by him and we were going to ask Chris for a radio pack. He said, oh, no problem. I already did it because he asked me already. And we were like, and that's what we were like, if people are interested, they'll be interested. So his name's Daryl Cruz. I like him. That was really, it hit differently because it's like he took his own initiative upon that, opposed to being, you know, asking other questions for if we wanted to do it. He pretty much just said, you're good enough to do it, you know, so here's the alley-oop. Bingo. You know, and I appreciate that.
So I actually use what he said and kind of turn that into a tip again. Don't get discouraged if nothing is happening instantly because this all takes time. We've been doing this since 2008 and we're, you know, steady progressing. You know what I'm saying? You're not just going to be Drake overnight. You know what I'm saying? You got to work your way up, but always know that there's always people watching and your moment can really happen at any time when you don't expect it.
Right.
You know, so definitely don't get discouraged because people are watching and it is doing something.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be doing what you want it to do, but it's doing something. So just keep going.
For sure. So I end the podcast by saying this is the NAST podcast, and everyone says their name. And when it's a group, at the end, everyone says the group name also. So start from right to left again. This is the NAST podcast with
Chad,
CMG.
and this is Dre Taylor, and we are in tune.